Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. I would like to start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Tough times never last, but tough people do. Tough times never last, they're not forever, but tough people do. Tough people last. The message over here, you got to be tough all the time. A very useful quote. Let us go to the phrasal verb of the day. Today's phrasal verb also deals with family, turn to. But at the outset, I would like to caution turn to has many meanings. In the context, against the backdrop of the family, to ask a person, it goes with informal English, it goes with formal English, family, workplace as well. To ask a person or organization for help or support. When you look at the examples, you understand. He turned to his brother when he lost his job. Means what? He asked his brother for help. Without someone to turn to for advice, making the most appropriate choice can be difficult. You need someone to turn to. Only then you can get or make appropriate choice. Combinations, friends, parents, brothers, sisters, teachers. Usually you turn to when you come, if you take all these combinations are possible. Let us go to the editorial vocabulary. Not too many words. The very first word, diminish. Diminish, diminished, diminished. It's a verb. It's a regular verb. Make or become less. Usually it goes with standards. It goes with numbers. We also use a word decline. Declining numbers, diminishing numbers, declining standards, diminishing standards. Leapfrog has got two different meanings. It is an idiomatic expression. The first one, mitigate, reduce, all these you can think of. It is a sport. It goes with everyday English. As a sport, what does it mean? You must have played this when you were young. Young boys and girls, usually school level, one of the games. You ask your friend to bend and you try to jump over that person. That is known as a leapfrog. But in this, leaps and bounds are different meaning, rapid growth. Here, to improve a position by going past others quickly or by missing some stages of an activity or process. Go past, that is an important expression. Imagine there's a building over here. From here, you crossed, you went from this side, you went this side. Then you have to say, I went past the building. That's an important, you played good. That's an important pattern. I went past the building. Here, going past others quickly or by missing some stages of an activity or process. There are 10 stages or 5 stages. You miss a few of them and you try to progress. Then also you can use leapfrog. Forge, usually we think of a negative connotation, but forge also has a positive connotation. Generally, we say forgery, forged documents, typical combinations. But look at the meaning over here. Forge, part of speech verb, create something strong, enduring, or successful. And it also means develop, create, develop. Something strong, enduring, lasting for a long time, or successful. This is a positive meaning, but usually it has a negative connotation. Let us go to the next word, comprehensive. I am sure you all can answer what is the meaning of fake, typical meaning, but here positive meaning. Comprehensive, I usually give two words. One is holistic, the other one exhaustive. Exhausted different, exhaustive different. It goes with the policy, syllabus, comprehensive, including or dealing with all or nearly all elements or aspects of something. Holistic approach, exhaustive syllabus, comprehensive policy. Meld, as far as I remember, we have got for the first time. Part of speech verb, blend or combine. Plunder is an important word. Usually, if you read history books, you come across the word plunder. Steal goods from a place or person, usually place, typically using force, and in a time of war or civil disorder. Usual theft, we don't use this word. Plunder goes with war or civil disorder. Imagine there are clashes and the crowd, the mob attack the shops, take away things from shops. Then we use plunder, they plundered. It is also a regular verb. Artifacts, it could be ARTI, it could be ARTE. An object made by a human being, typically one of cultural or historical interest, not a simple thing, either cultural or historical. Pilferage means steal something in small quantities, but this is public plunder. Strategic has two different meanings. One goes with what is your strategy to get success? What is your strategy to get selected? But strategic studies a different meaning altogether. Part of speech adjective relating to the gaining of overall or long term military advantage. When we say strategic studies, it means studies related to defense of a country. So, an important combination. It goes with polity. Outreach usually goes with NGOs. They try to reach out, also, you can say, downtrodden people, underprivileged people, backward communities, tribals, and the extent or length of reaching out. And usually they conduct a program like outreach program. They try to reach those people. Impetus, part of speech noun, something that makes a process or activity happen or happen more quickly. Here you have to recollect the word catalyst. Actually, the word catalyst goes with chemistry, but effective English, you can use the word either catalyst or you can use impetus. Lord, we have already got. Praise a person or the achievements highly. He has been lauded by the Prime Minister. But here I would like to give a word flattery. What is the meaning of the word flattery? Propulsion also you can. Flattery means false praise. Someone praises you, but not from the heart, not serious, not sincere, and it is to get something from you. Then what is the word flattery? Don't fall for his flattery, usually we say, and false praise, but honest Lord. Omen, part of speech noun, an event regarded as a portent of good or evil. Portent means something that goes with the future, may happen in future, and predicted to be good or bad. Good or bad omen, good omen. Lapse we have already got, I think, in the recent past. A brief or temporary failure of concentration, memory, or judgment. And this lapse can be a noun, can be a verb. Not too many words, and a few words are familiar. What is this editorial about? It is about the Prime Minister's visit to Greece after a gap of 40 years. Way back in 1983, Indian Prime Minister visited Greece. After 4 decades, the present incumbent Prime Minister visited Greece. And any Prime Minister or President of a country visits another country, usually they talk about bilateral ties. When it comes to bilateral ties, also, they deal with economic, on the economic front, political front, defense front, and employment front. These are the areas, business front. This editorial also deals with more or less the same framework. What is the tone? There's nothing to criticize when it comes to this editorial. Based on that, it is purely informative and analytical. The tone of the editorial is informative and analytical, neutral stand. It presents a factual and objective assessment. I have given the words many a time: subjective statement, objective statement. What is the difference? Subjective statement means personal. You express your personal opinion, that is subjective. Objective means based on facts. Usually, regular classes, offline classes, I ask students, what is the difference between an argument and a discussion? Argument is based on subjective statements. I hope you guys are listening. And discussion is based on objective statements. Because subjective, usually it results in flare up of passions, but objective, people remain cool. I usually give one quote also, popular saying. What is that? When a wise man, first at the outset, a wise man never argues, a wise man always discusses. And what is a popular saying? When a wise man argues with a fool, you cannot tell who is who. Have you guys got it? When a wise man argues with a fool, you cannot tell who is who. I hope you guys got it. It presents objective assessment of the strategic ties between India and Greece, focusing on the geopolitical motivations and shared interest. Motivation is an important word. Today, if you go to the private sector, corporate world, they conduct motivation workshops regularly. Why do they do that? The reason for that, employees initially, they are quite highly motivated. The problem with motivation, imagine a new class, a new course, initially 500, then 400, then 300. The number keeps coming down. They lose motivation. Ah, good. Uh, they lose motivation because there's a saying in English. What is it? Familiarity breeds contempt. Imagine you went to Agra. You saw the Taj Mahal. First day you use all adjectives: magnificent, incredible, mind blowing, fabulous, all these. You stay there for 1 month, you go the same way. Every day you see the Taj Mahal. After 1 month, you don't even bother to look at the Taj Mahal. Same Taj Mahal. So, what happened? Familiarity breeds contempt. And motivation, first day, big company, private sector, something like Infosys or Microsoft, IBM, 100% motivation. Slowly it comes down. That is human nature. Then you may ask, sir, what is the meaning of motivation? Motivation means a driving force inside a person. You are highly motivated, so you have come here. You have the driving force. Some force has brought you. Driving force within is known as motivation. But the problem with motivation, it does not stay at the same level all the time. It keeps coming down. And because of that, the private sector, if you take big companies, they spend lakhs of rupees to motivate their employees. And they bring in consultants, motivation gurus. We use the word management gurus. Have you heard of that, management gurus? And these management gurus and motivation gurus, they conduct a workshop and they try to give a pep talk, motivation related, and employees again. For some time they are charged. After that, it is something like back to square one. So they have to do it regularly. The language used is neutral, descriptive, aiming to provide a clear understanding of the factors influencing the relationship between the two countries. What I would like to tell you guys, you have been attending these sessions. I have already created an acronym, SLEEPS, and this goes with polity, science and technology, and legal, education, economy, polity, socio-cultural problems. Over a period of time, you come across a lot of editorials related to polity, a lot of editorials related to education. Then you should have the something like a word bank. You have to create your own word bank. You have to create your own effective English bank. Effective English bank. And you have to create your own knowledge bank. Then what happens the moment you see, you know, it is about bilateral ties between two countries, you should be able to guess a broad framework. You will be able to do that over a period of time. And in the exam also, you see a passage related to socio-cultural problem. Let us take environment related. Already we have done a lot of editorials related to environment. Could be air pollution, could be water pollution, could be climate change, could be loss of habitat. Obviously, you will be able to, if you consciously, deliberately create all these word bank, effective English bank, knowledge bank. In the exam, it becomes so easy for you to read, comprehend, and answer the questions effortlessly. That is what I would like to tell. We have got so many editorials, bilateral ties, old ties. These are not new ties. They go back to the times of Alexander the Great. If you read the editorial, you understand. Based on that old ties, on the India and Greece bilateral relationship. Here, some students may get the doubt. They may ask the question or they may wonder. India is a country, so is Greece. Before the names of countries, because they are proper nouns, we should not use any article. Though exceptions are there, the US, the UK, the Netherlands, the Philippines, and the Irish Republic. But here it is not about India and Greece independently or in isolation. It is about the India and Greece bilateral relationship. Based on that, all these one unit, based on that, we can use a definite article there. Nothing wrong with that. What is the main idea of this editorial? India and Greece are finding new ways to revive an age old relationship. There are two words over here. Answer my question, what is the meaning of the word revive? Revive means bring back the old glory, bring back the old standards, bring back the original standards or image, revival of something. And revamp also, we use a word, revamp. Revive what? Age old relationship. As I said, it goes back to the times of Alexander the Great. Editorial talks about that. Speaking after a bilateral meeting with Greece's Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis last week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted, this is a verb, it can be a noun, that India-Greece bilateral relations have neither been diminished nor has a warmth decreased, despite no Indian Prime Minister having visited Greece since 1983. That's what I said. Restore also you can use. Revamp, revive, bring back old uh, glory. Here, this is an important sentence pattern. You may ask, sir, why? Bilateral India-Greece bilateral relations have neither been diminished. Here it is in passive voice. They haven't been diminished. They have been diminished. They haven't been diminished. Neither been diminished nor the second clause is important. I want you guys to focus on that. Has the warmth decreased? Is it in affirmative form or interrogative form? The warmth has decreased, affirmative. Has the warmth decreased, in interrogative? If you wonder why should we use the interrogative form, because of the negative word nor. Usually what happens is a rule that goes with English grammar, an important rule from the exam point of view. When we begin a sentence with a negative word, the clause has to be in the interrogative form. Some educators also say it is inverted form, but I say it should be in the interrogative form. For example, seldom. Seldom means what? Rarely. This is also considered negative word. Seldom does he visit his parents. In the exam, they have given a few times. Seldom he visits his parents. Wrong. Here, seldom the clause or the sentence has to be in interrogative form. Seldom does he visit. In this context, I want you guys to recollect negative words like hardly, scarcely, barely, no sooner. All these you have to think of two dimensions. One, the combination. Hardly, barely, scarcely take the word when. No sooner takes the word than. That is one dimension, combination. The other dimension, the interrogative form of the clause. Warmth. I'm sure you all know the word warm. When it comes to letter writing in the past, now you guys may not write letters. The world has changed. Courtesy, thanks to technology. But when we would write letters, we would close informal letters, warm regards. So, what does it mean, warm? There are four words usually I give: hot, cold, warm, cool. One meaning. But here, warm regards, what does it mean? Here, warm means affectionate. I also give the example: mothers are always warm, means what? Mothers are always affectionate. A different meaning altogether that you have to recollect. From that, you also get the warmth decreased despite. You have to think of the related with the same function, another preposition. Two prepositions express contrast. What are those two prepositions? One is despite, the other one is in spite of. And between the two, in one exam, they gave a question where students had to choose between despite, either despite or in spite of. Which one will you choose? Despite should be chosen. What is the reason? Despite is a little more formal than in spite of. Only a few can answer. Having visited an important pattern, it is a non finite verb. And if you ask which, we have different types of non finite verbs. Which one is that? It is a perfect participle. What is perfect participle? Combination of verb ing form, present participle, and past participle. What is a non-finite verb? Finite verb is one that has a tense and it has to agree with the subject in person and number. And non-finite verb is one that doesn't have a tense and doesn't have to agree with the subject in person and number. However, the absence of high-level contact has meant present perfect, a lack of close strategic ties. Absence of high level contact, president, prime minister, high level contact, has meant something. What has it meant? A lack of close strategic ties in the way India has with other nearby countries in Europe, such as India has strategic ties with other nearby countries in Europe. What are those other nearby countries in Europe? France, Spain, Italy, and Cyprus. Similar close strategic ties India doesn't have with Greece. To that end, to meet that objective, Mr. Modi's visit, which came shortly after Mr. Mitsotaki's re-election in June, sought to leapfrog ties, means go to a particular level, skipping a few steps, or to achieve something quickly. Here, India and Greece agreed to establish a strategic partnership related to the defense and announced the plans for a dialogue mechanism between the national security advisors. As I said, strategic partnership deals with defense. Based on that, the talks or dialogue mechanism between, here we can also use the word the talks, dialogue mechanism between the national security advisors, apart from plans for the two dimensions. One, uh, strategic partnership. Then the sentence talks about other things apart from. They could have used a besides also. Plans for a skilled migration, manpower, and mobility partnership, different dimensions, as well as cooperation to complete negotiations for the India European Union free trade negotiation on connectivity partnership. So many partnerships, any editorial, any passage that deals with bilateral ties invariably talks about the different partnerships on the economic front, political front, defense front, employment front, sometimes education front. If you take the US, India-US bilateral ties, invariably it touches education because a lot of Indian students go to the US every year, year after year. While connectivity between the two countries was forged, look at this, this is what I was talking about. While connectivity between the two countries was forged by Alexander's invasion in 326 BCE, exchanges now have been mainly predicated on tourism. Coming to the present, though they started way back in 326 BCE, exchanges now have been predicated. Mainly is an adverb, then you ask yourself which tense is this? It is present perfect and passive voice. On tourism, trade about 2 billion US dollars and migration of labor without a more comprehensive bilateral strategy at play. Here, the focus areas tourism industry, trade about 2 billion US dollars, and migration of labor already mentioned. But all these without a more comprehensive bilateral strategy, comprehensive or holistic or exhaustive bilateral strategy at play. They don't have a comprehensive bilateral strategy in hand. In spite of that, they wanted to focus on these areas. Speaking to the Greek newspaper Kathimerini, Mr. Modi hoped that India's ambition to become, right now, ever since Mr. Modi has, the Prime Minister, has assumed office, one particular thing has stood out. What is that? Make in India slogan and India's ambition to become a global manufacturing hub. Answer my question right now, which is considered or which country is known as a global manufacturing hub. Mr. Modi hoped that India's ambition to become a global manufacturing hub could now be melded with Greece's aspiration, combined, blended with Greece's aspirations to become. Someone wanted to ask, see, here we have an expression because I was busy explaining, I could not answer. Look at this. Ah, yes, of course, it is right. Anusha. Greece's aspirations to become English has rules, English has exceptions, always remember. Aspirations to become an economic gateway to the EU. We want to go to Europe, and Greece could play a vital role, economic gateway to the European Union. Ah, that's right. Right now, China is considered global manufacturing hub. India, sooner or later, is going to become global manufacturing hub. In addition, India and Greece once plundered by colonial powers. India was plundered by colonial powers, the UK, Britishers, and Greece, I'm not quite sure, have also held discussions on restoration of artifacts. When a particular colonial power plunders a country, usually they take the artifacts, which are precious. So these two countries had the same bitter experience and they want to work on restoration of artifacts. They may find common cause in pushing legislation through UNESCO, a body which deals with culture, heritage, all this, to help restore some of the historical property, which is really precious. Their strategic ties have a strong geopolitical impetus as well. Geopolitical impetus, an important combination. Mr. Modi's outreach comes as Greece, which has overcome several years as an economic trouble spot. Between, I think, 2017 and 2020, Greece had hell a lot of problems on the financial front. Based on that, which has overcome several years as an economic trouble spot, and once over indebted to Chinese investment, seeks to diversify its options. They have come out of those financial troubles and they want to look at other countries instead of depending solely on China. In Greece's strengthened ties with Israel and Cyprus, in what is seen as a coalition to counter Turkey, India might find some common ground. Another area where India and Greece may find some common ground. What is it? In Greece's strengthened ties with Israel and Cyprus, in what is seen as a coalition with these two countries to counter to face or to as an answer to Turkey. Same thing, India might find some common ground given Delhi Ankara tensions over Turkey's role in the OIC and over Kashmir. In addition, India and Greece, once ancient maritime powers, ships going across the world, maritime powers, ancient maritime powers, face concerns over the maintenance of maritime security in keeping with international laws. Mr. Mitsotakis referred to the common interest that bind the Eastern Mediterranean and the Indo-Pacific regions. Yes, that's right. How does the editorial end? Lauding the landing of Chandrayaan 3. Lauding means what? Appreciating the landing of Chandrayaan 3. He said it showed favorable omens, means signs of something good for the relationship between the most populous democracy, that is India, and the first democracy, that is Greece, suggesting that both countries use the favorable winds to set the course for more cooperation without allowing another 4 decades to lapse. Already 4 decades lapsed. Here, they don't want that to happen. Let us go to, you may get something like this as an edit, as a passage, bilateral ties. It augurs well, it bodes well. Very good. Tripat Rao, I appreciate that. What are the questions based on this editorial comprehension skill point of view? What is the driving force behind the strategic ties between India and Greece? How has Greece transformed its economic situation in recent years? Why is Greece seeking to diversify its international partnerships? With which countries has Greece strengthened its ties? And what is the purpose of this coalition? Easy to answer. In what ways might India and Greece find common ground due to tensions involving Turkey? Specific questions, easy to answer. But the point over here, all these questions, if you write answers using your own words, rephrasing, that is going to help in the long run. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. The first 5 questions, as usual, go with error location. I read the first one. They've given many a time similar questions because it goes with common errors. Novak, even Novak Djokovic, who is among the greatest hardcore players, found it tough. Yes, you can, Anusha, have already answered. We have exceptions. That is a problem with English. No, it is not in the first part. No, no. Oh, how come? First part, what is wrong with the first part? Where will you, all of you, where will you use the word was? Or you mean to say even Novak Djokovic was, who is among the greatest hardcore players, found it tough? No, no way. Here, always listen very carefully. In English, to express past actions, we have a choice. What is the choice? We can use either past tense or present perfect, present perfect tense. Then comes a question where to use past tense, where to use present perfect. Any past action, time is important, we have to use past tense. Any past action, time is not important, action is important, we have to use present perfect. One of the differences, those are good at English and those are not good at English. In conversational English, in written English, quite often we talk about past actions where time is not important, action is important. And those who are good at English use the present perfect quite often. On the other hand, those who are not good at English use past tense. Here it talks about a past action where there is no time, time need not be mentioned. Based on that, here even Novak Djokovic, who is among the greatest hardcore players, has found it tough. Has found it tough. That is the answer. Has found it tough. Which tense is that? Present perfect tense. As simple as that. And why I have brought many a time in different competitive exams, they've given many a time questions based on this use of present perfect. If you take present perfect tense, it has five uses. Five uses. So the most important tense in English, present perfect tense. Go to question number two. The 20-year-old Spaniard won his maiden Grand Slam crown in New York last year. The 20-year-old Spaniard won his maiden Grand Slam crown in New York last year. Today also slow, I don't know. I have already changed the slide, but here I don't see that. It shows the first question. I have gone to the second one. No one has responded. Now I see. Sindhu says second part. Tripatrao, no error. Question number two. Very good. Anusha, no error. And Nagendra Amma, no error. Wonderful. Others also. Whenever you read a sentence, you have to look for the time phrase. What is the time phrase here last year? That goes into past. Then invariably you have to use past tense. The 20-year-old Spaniard won. It is in past. His maiden Grand Slam crown, nothing wrong. Where in New York, nothing wrong. When last year? Answer is the 20-year-old Spaniard, nothing wrong. No error. Please respect the fifth option. Go to question number three. Among women, a reigning champion Iga Swiatek is a main draw card in spite of a not so encouraging build-up. Maiden means first. This Nagendrama, Venkateswarama, one and the same, I suppose. Tirupati Rao, first one to respond. Question number three. In spite of. Under pressure, imagine this same they have given in some exams. Under pressure, you take things for granted, and this goes with common errors. Based on that, here you may think everything looks perfect. No, in spite of common error, people write in spite one word of one word. Wrong. In spite of, you have to write three separate words. And another dimension they have given in many exams, I am sure all our students know. Despite of, logically thinking, in spite of, people tend to say despite of. Not correct. Despite does not take the preposition of. These two things you have to remember. No, there's an error in the third part. As simple as that. You don't have to go beyond the third part. Question number four, a lengthy sentence. There was also the moral boosting victory in Cincinnati over Swiatek, to whom Goff had lost all seven of her previous matches and all 14 sets. Where is the error? Despite is a little more formal than in spite of. Yes, Tripura Sundari. By writing, you can consolidate. Anusha, first one to get question number four, she could spot the error. And the first one, let us wait for, after that I see Naidu Paidi also and Rajshekhar. Here it is not moral boosting. What is the right word here? Moral means value. Morals, plural form, values, ethics. And here we cannot use moral, we have to use morale. Morale means what? Your confidence in a particular situation. Imagine you're facing problems, hardships at the time of the war, losing the battle, and a company not doing well. Then someone has to give an inspiring speech to boost up the morale of the soldiers in a war. Morale of the employees when it comes to the company. Morale. Confidence, not the regular confidence. In a difficult situation, they have to give a pep talk. Exactly. Who is that? Anusha, yes. Difficult situation. Confidence matters a lot. Generally, this word goes with police also. The morale, low morale of police we use. There are so many reasons I cannot discuss here, but answer. And recently, last week, I suppose, in one of the exams, bank exams, usually I give three pairs. One is human, humane. Human, you all know. Humane means what? Kind. They gave this one, it seems. Another pair, urban, urbane. Urban opposite rural. Urban means a sophisticated, polished, refined, civilized. And all the three you have to remember moral, morale, human, humane, and urban, urbane. Very important. Let us go to question number 5. However, the rise of Coco Gauff adds a new dimension. The 19-year-old American has won 11 of her 12 singles matches since Wimbledon. A question like this, you should not go beyond a particular part. Which part is that? Very good. Here it is not raise, we have to use rise. They have given more than 20 times. That's the reason why I keep bringing. Under pressure, you all know, but under pressure, not easy, based on the context. So, rise, what is the past form? Rose, arisen. To go up in position. The sun rises in the east. And raise, raised, raised. Rise is an intransitive verb, irregular verb. A raise, a transitive verb, that means it can take an object, and a regular verb, it takes ed, only the letter d. Raise the standards, raise your hands. Very important. Now let us go to practice questions, exam topic, cloze test. Slowly I'll be changing here today, rather easy because you worked on this editorial yesterday and a familiar context. We discussed all these words, but slowly I may take you to a higher level. Editorial, already familiar without the words. Then you are ready for the exam. Carlos Alcaraz will look to buck. Very good. To buck means what? To resist. Answer is C. To buck this very trend, to resist this very trend. When the 20, what is the trend? After Roger Federer, no one can defend the US title, US Open title. He wants to buck that trend, resist that trend. When the 2023 edition gets underway at Flushing Meadows on Monday, the 20-year-old Spaniard won his, already have got this word, maiden Grand Slam crown in New York last year and backed that up with with what? Stupendous victory. Stupendous victory. Here, G is the word. Pass the buck has, Madhav, you're there. Pass the buck has a different meaning altogether. Pass the buck means to evade responsibility. Something goes wrong and you don't want to take the responsibility. You pass the buck. You put it on others or you give the responsibility to. He is trying to pass the buck, common expression. Stupendous, that's right. Stupendous triumph over at Wimbledon over Djokovic. In a short career, the world number one has what? Shown the mettle, proved it tough. Shown the mettle and focus required to be serially successful, defending titles at Barcelona and Madrid this year. But to do that at a major is a Not a. I think it should have been. What is the answer? Herculean task. Herculean task. What is it? B. A Herculean task. H is silent. A Herculean task. He has to also compete with Djokovic, who at 36, that is considered old when it comes to tennis, which is a power game, still looks sprightly. Sprightly means what? Very active. E is the answer. At the recent Cincinnati Masters, the Serb Djokovic outlasted Alcaraz over what sort of sets? Pulsating sets, exciting. In a final that lasted nearly 4 hours. Only three sets, 4 hours. That is not easy. Let us go to, based on yesterday's editorial, the writer used a lot of, a few idioms. Some are familiar, some are new. I've taken the concept of more or less situation one experiences. One or two easy, but try to get all the five correct. Here you see five, these are meanings of idioms. Down you see formidable, very good. Intimidating. Ominous has a different connotation, something very bad, but formidable, intimidating, another dimension, frightening. Whereas uphill, Herculean, something difficult, difficult to achieve. In a very serious, very bad situation, there's an important one. Bank exams, they have given many a time. What is the answer here? In dire straits. He is in dire straits, means in a very bad, miserable situation. No, sprightly person. Here, sprightly is an adjective. Offline classes, I told, I should have done it. Usually, what happens when you see ly, you think it is an adverb. But sprightly person, lively person, lively person. Which part of speech is lively? Though ly is there, it is an adjective. Similar way, sprightly, adjective. Varun, that's a good question, Varun. I appreciate. I hope you got the answer. In the meantime, others have answered the second one. They say a situation in which it is impossible to succeed because of conflicting rules or conditions. No, second one is not A. How come all? Only Suresh has got it right and Rajshekhar. Here, a situation in which it is impossible to succeed because of conflicting rules or conditions. Answer is E. Catch 22 situation. I'll give an example. When you, as a young person, when you go for a job, they say we are looking for experienced persons. Now, catch 22 situation. If you get a job, you get experience. And to get a job, you need experience. Without a job, you cannot get experience. Without experience, you cannot get a job. That is the catch 22 situation. I hope you guys got it. Only a small part of the problem, the biggest part of the problem is hidden. Answer is obviously D. Typical example, the Titanic. It did not assess the iceberg properly. By seeing the tip of the iceberg, it went ahead, resulted in collision and disaster. To scold or hold one accountable for something wrong or error they committed, take someone to task. Workplace we use, it goes with formal, both formal and informal context. Now, extremely difficult task. What is the answer? A is the answer. Here you have to use Herculean task. We got many words. Yesterday we got 19 words. Now, editorial vocabulary consolidation. My request, write the part of speech and write the meaning. Only the key words You don't have to write all the words. Key word, one word is also enough. Scold, you can use words like criticize, censure, castigate, rebuke, reprimand, all admonish. Another word is there, admonish. Very good, I appreciate. Uphill task, arduous task, yes, very difficult. And even chance, it may go this way or that way, 50-50. Even chance. May happen, may not happen. Idiomatic expression. One student responds, then I will, equal chances, very good. Pawan is the first one, Pawan Kumar. Equal chances. Abuse has a different connotation altogether. Admonish I have used, very good. What is the other one? Revise. Exactly, 50-50. Grueling experience means what? Taking a lot of energy, something makes you that makes you exhausted, drains you out. Equal chances enough. Key words. Grueling match. Grueling means what? Tiresome, extremely tiresome, weary, exhaust that makes you get exhausted. When you get exhausted, you lose all your energy. Then when you are drained out, you get the fatigue. Fatigue means what? Tiredness. Defatigable. Yesterday also used that. Very good. We use the word indefatigable. Cannot be defeated. Cannot be exhausted. Get to buck. Already we have got. To buck means what? To resist. This fatigue could be mental fatigue or physical fatigue. I told yesterday. Very good. Tripura Sundari. The match is underway. What does it mean? I appreciate all those guys who have been writing the synonyms. That's really good. Get underway. Going on. The match is on. To begin to happen. Happening. Get underway. Resist. That is the right word. Triumph. An easy one. A great victory. If one student answers, then I will tick that word and I'll go to the next one. Maiden, easy one. I see Tripura Sundari and Anusha, they've answered. Now I see Rajshekhar. Maiden also answered by someone. The first, one of the meanings, maiden century, maiden speech. Stupendous, an important one. Stupendous victory. Stupendous means what? Impressive. Very good. That is the exact word. Show your mettle. Generally, we say, show your mettle. Time to show your mettle. Show your mettle, an important one. What does it mean? Eighth one, impressive, already over. Go to the ninth one, idiomatic expression. Usually we use a pronoun, your mettle, show your mettle. Uh, show how tough you are. For that, you can use the word resilient. Show your resilient nature. Herculean task, an uphill task, a difficult task. Contend with Djokovic means what? Carlos Alcaraz has to contend with Novak Djokovic. Means compete with. Very good. Compete in this context. It has many meanings though. Sprightly, lively, dynamic, active. Someone asked a question, I responded, but after that, no response. Full of beans, very good. Who is that? Anusha, full of beans. Dynamic, energetic. Embellish, go to Word number 13. Embellish means what? No one has answered, but an easy one should not be that difficult. Embellish. Make something more attractive, decorate. It goes more with decoration. A realm. Be careful. Embellish is a verb. A realm, noun. Careful, a live wire. Very good, Naidu. I appreciate that. Domain or field of interest. Domain of interest, field of interest, realm. An important word you got to remember. Outlast, part of speech verb. It's a regular verb. What does it mean? Djokovic outlasted Carlos Alcaraz. What does it mean? Outlast, outlast. 16, 15. Have you answered? You have answered. Live longer, last for a longer time. Live longer, exactly. Pulsating, exciting. Uh, Adrenaline. Has anyone used that? Okay. Pulsating. A reigning champion. What does it mean? Part of speech adjective, obviously. When we say Carlos Alcaraz is a reigning champion, means what? Current champion. That's right. Current, we also use the word incumbent. Incumbent prime minister means one who is in power. Current prime minister. But that goes more with polity, and reigning champion goes more with sports. Morale, your confidence in a difficult situation. That is very important. A roster, a list or plan for turns of duties, either employees, groups, turns of duties. That's all for today. 19 words. If you have answered all the 19 along with the parts of speech, that is wonderful. Contemporary issues, yes. Necessary also, sir. Who is it? Tirupati Rao. Good. 19 out of 19. Great. Today is your day. Take it that way. All these are important, effective words, and getting all the 19 along with parts of speech, commendable, highly appreciable. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. Do remember to subscribe and share. I will see you guys tomorrow.